Hello everyone, welcome back to another banner reaction and analysis. I'm DTM as always, and we have with us the new T banner that they showed off in the FEH channel. Of course, we do know the units of this banner, but we don't know any of the skills or anything like what their perfs weapons do or what their new skills do. So even though the units themselves aren't really a surprise, we still have a lot to discover about this and to react to. And I'm super excited because I personally always love like new and unique themes. So having this T banner here is super good. And yeah, let us get on with it. As always, if you like the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot. And I really do appreciate all the constant support. But yeah, let us begin. Yes, this is the T banner, baby. So yeah, I believe the first unit should be Lysithea. Yes. Alright, T Sweetener. I believe she's Flying Mage. Yeah, Flying, Colorless Mage. We've been getting a lot of Colorless Mages. Remember when, like, we used to not have any? I see, what's the word? Whatever Mark has. Okay, since we do know, these, units, I'm going to pause, since there's no point in just going through them all. So Lysithea comes with Baked Treats, which has Canto 1. That is super, super good. Accelerate special trigger. At start of turn, inflicts speed res -6 and sabotage on nearest foes within 5 spaces of unit and foes within 2 spaces of those foes through their next actions. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit, neutralizes effects that prevents units follow-up attacks, and neutralizes foes' bonuses to speed and res. Okay. This is pretty nice. Like, we have Slang, we have Sabotage, which is really good support. It is on, like, those tier 4 Sabotage skills, which is where, like, I remember Mark having it, I guess. But no, this is, like, pretty decent. I don't see anything like true damage or, like, anything that could help get through damage reduction. But she does come with a perf Mastermind, so I'm very curious to see what this actually does. At start of turn, deals 1 damage to unit. Okay, so that's where the self-damage comes from. Oh yeah, because I did notice that in the original FEH channel, and like the weapon doesn't have it, but Mastermind here does. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +9 to unit during combat, and deals damage equals X plus Y. X being 80% of the highest total bonuses among units and allies within 2 spaces of unit. Y being the highest total penalties among target and foes within 2 spaces of target. Okay, here we go. This is where things get interesting. There's the true damage. So yeah, we do have the self damage. Again, I personally would have wished it was like Winter Bernadetta, where it also damages 1 for the allies. That is a lot more flexible for things like Gale Force and getting to those HP thresholds, but still having just a single source of self damage is good enough already to make most strategies like those work. So that is already really good. And on top of that, you get attack speed +9, which I believe is the max that attack speed catch does. So we have that covered. But in addition to that, we have the true damage. And it is basically like dominance and I think treachery combined, right? Because it's the highest total penalties. I mean, it's actually more than that because dominance only looks at the foe, not the foe and its allies. And I think treachery is the same, just with yourself and not with your allies. So whatever like highest bonuses you or your allies have, 80% of that becomes true damage. In addition, whatever penalties the foes have like within those 2 spaces, like that becomes. So like if you have like +24 in bonuses and your and the foe is say like -24 in terms of like total penalties, that is 80% of 48, which is like what, around 40-ish true damage just right there. Again, this is very similar to like the true damage you get from like dominance and treachery combined. Of course, it is 80%, but like 80% is a lot, and you can like have a lot of value. I mean, just from this weapon, right? Like you have the stat infliction speed res -6, so that is 12. 80% of that is around 10ish. Rounding, of course. I'm not exactly accurate right there. And then you also get like the oath, the buffs from the oath skill, and that's like another 10ish. So just like from the base kit, you get around 20ish true damage, which is a lot of true damage. Okay, like this is insane. So yeah, this is a very stacked A skill. Now the problem here is that she does not currently have a way to get through damage reduction, right? Like damage reduction does mitigate true damage, which sort of makes true damage a misnomer in terms of terminology, but that is something to consider. And of course, it can't really get through like Aegis, Hardy Fighter Aegis that well, because it doesn't cut through that either. But still, I do think she'll be very, very strong. Like that amount of true damage is no joke. Now, what does Desperation 4 do? This is something that caught my eye and caught a lot of people's eye. Inflict speed -4 on foe during combat. At start of combat, if unit's HP is less than or equal to 99%, and unit initiates combat, or number of spaces from unit's start position to end position is greater than or equal to 2, and unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. Wait, what? Hold on. So as long as you are damaged in some way, or you move 2 spaces, you get desperation, essentially. Like, you don't even need to get damaged. You just need to move 2 or more, and you get desperation. Like, what? That is such a more lenient condition than, like, Desperation 3. Like, already, like, obviously the self-damage does help with the Desperation 4 for Lysithea, but not a lot of units will be able to like meet that criteria because they don't have self-damage. But most units that would want Desperation 4 can meet the secondary condition, the second condition, alternative condition, and that is just moving 2 spaces. So like, if you're facing off against Desperation 4, you obviously like don't want to bait max range in that case. You have to like bait more towards them. But depending on how much range they have, like I think Cavs, theoretically you can like take an alternate route so that you still like take more than 2 spaces, but obviously like infantry or flyers, you can't really do that unless you can like teleport or something. So like this leniency is actually really huge. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like Scythia, I think like Scythia is really good. Now again, like the big problem is that she currently does not have a way to get through damage reduction, right? As a flyer, she cannot run like Magic No Follow-Up or Special Spiral 4, and we still don't have a mage special that can get through damage reduction. And so that will be the main problem that Lysithea will encounter. But again, like that amount of true damage is no joke. Lysithea is looking really good. Yeah, 92. Dang. Man, so many units would love a mage special right now. Like actually. Alright, we have Sigurd next, and we did see Sigurd's special giving extra movement to everyone. So let's see this. Blue Mage Cav. Let's see. Is this a 2-pager? It's probably a 2-pager. Unless like he doesn't come with a C. But anyways, let's start with a Knightly Manor. Accelerate special trigger at start of combat if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%. Grants all stats +5 to unit. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and deals damage equals to 15% of unit's attack, excluding AoEs during combat. And also, if foe uses sword, lance, axe, magic staff, dragonstone, or beast damage, foe cannot counterattack. Okay, we have sweep here. Wait, sword, lance, axe, magic staff, dragonstone, or beast. What is left? Like both? Is both? And I guess daggers too. Wait, really? You get sweep. That's so much like sweep. Like most save tanks will get and I think most omni tanks too will not be able to counterattack with this. Like if I'm reading this correctly, the only like weapon types that can counterattack are bows and daggers. So while like something like Winter Marth can still and probably just honestly destroy Sigurd, like most will have the sweep effect, and sweep effects are very, very strong, right? Like, yeah. That's part of the reason why like Legendary Veronica is so good, because not only can you survive, generally you can survive so that you can get that second hit, especially if, or like a quad or something like that, or just like survive in general, or like get through like vantage units. Wow, okay, I did not expect that. Anyways, we have a Chivalric Aura as the special. At start of turn, if unit cooldown count is at its maximum value, grants special cooldown count -1 to unit. Okay, so this is instantly pre-charged. Good to know. Boost special damage by 25% of unit's attack. That's just a regular special damage thing. After combat, if unit special is triggered, grants attack +6 to unit and all allies for 1 turn. And unit and all allies can move 1 extra space. Okay, so that is like the Holy Knight Aura effect. The good news about this is that, unlike Holy Knight Aura, Sigurd does not get the extra movement right away. And so, like, it remains the case that Thief Nina is the only unit that can have that has basically 4 movement and range, right? Because like Legendary Sigurd, Brave Seliph, they are all melee. So even though that they can move 4 spaces, their threat range is still only 5. And while like all ranged calves can theoretically get Holy Knight Aura'd, like it's not something that they can provide for themselves. Thief Nina can, through her dual skill, have that threat range be 6, but like Chivalric Aura will not allow Sigurd to immediately have that 6 threat range. And so makes sense, you know, this Sigurd is ranged, so they don't want to have like the initial threat range to eclipse like the current threshold of 5, besides Thief Nina, I guess. But yeah, we all know Legendary Sigurd, like this will have a lot of value. Having sweep is good. I don't know. I think it will depend on the map. Obviously, if it's not calf favor, then Sigurd might struggle. But in something like SD, where the maps are okay for calves, I think Sigurd will have a lot of value, because just giving extra movement is very good. Now, we do have counterplay to extra movement in the forms of stall from, you know, folks like Dual Marth, Dual Thor. And it's looking like Sigurd here is going to be pretty slow. I see Remote Sturdy instead of Remote Sparrow, so probably not high on the speed side. And even if like Sigurd is not like the slowest unit, there's still some positioning requirements to make sure that the slowest unit is not near Sigurd to not get stalled. And like, you know, actually like Sigurd doesn't like care about stall, but like if he procs his Chivalric Aura and a bunch of units get stalled because of that, like that is a big oof. So that is something that you'll probably want to like play around. I still think he will have value, but it'll just depend on like if the low speed is that much of a detriment to him. I think he does have a guaranteed follow-up attack though, but yeah, I think he'll be very good though, right? Like extra movement is always good, and I'm sure he'll find some use. Yeah, you see all the extra movement there. And yeah, you'll definitely see him, I think, in like calf favored SD maps. I don't know if he'll be meta enough for SDR, but I do think he can put in work. And then yeah, we do have Ferdinand as the demote. Tea time set plus enables Canto 1. Canto 1 is always good. So as an inheritable, this is actually pretty decent. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces from ally, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat. And also if unit speed is greater than foe speed, neutralizes effects that prevent units to follow up attacks during combat. So that, yeah, attack speed +5, Canto, and no follow-up. That's actually a pretty decent inheritable weapon. Yeah. I mean, this is a pretty good green mage. Obviously, like, green tomes are still waiting for their arcane tome. But like for the time being, this is actually a really, really good green mage weapon. Like Canto 1, again, super strong. NFU, attack speed +5, like, very, very good, actually. Obviously, I think the arcane weapon in the future will be better, but, like, it doesn't exist right now. So, yeah. Alright, last but certainly not least, we have our harmonic, Ayra and Mercedes.
Must we dress this way?
And Ayra is still a sword. Sword cav, though. We've already had a sword cav from, like, Summer Shez. And yeah, we have the 2-pager now. Oh, with the fancy Canto. A bit. Okay. Enables T times edge enables Canto dist +1 max 4. Okay, so this is like fixed Canto, but it's based on like... Okay, actually, I probably shouldn't try to... Yeah, there's a definition down below. We'll get to that later. Anyways, let's just read this. Accelerate special trigger at start of combat if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%. Grants attack speed plus X to unit. X being 25% of foe's attack during combat. -2, min 6, max 16. Okay. Deals damage equals to 20% of unit speed, excluding AoEs, and neutralizes effects that inflicts special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. Okay, so we also have tempo there too. Okay, what is Canto Dis +1 max 4? After an attack, assist skill, or structure destruction, unit can move to a space equals to number of spaces from start position to end position moved prior to taking action +1 max 4. Wait, so like this is like the reverse of what you normally think of Canto then. Basically, the more you move, the more Canto you have. Because normally, like, most Canto remaining is, like, the more you move, the less Canto you have. But this, you want to, like, engage more. Which, I think there's, like, literally no downside to this. Now, it does have a maximum. So, like, it's not like you can Canto... If you say you have, like, Legendary Sigurd's buff on Ayra and move 4, you can't Canto back 5. But like still, this is like basically fixed Canto, but better. I mean, it would be fixed Canto because like in most scenarios, if you like don't engage max range, you don't really need to Canto the maximum of whatever this is either. Like you generally just need to Canto back to where you start, and this type of Canto will always ensure that happens. And so yeah, this Canto is super, super strong. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Obviously, we also have like the attack speed +6. It's 25% of foe's attack. Most attacks will probably hover around like the 60-ish mark. So like 25% of that is around 15. So this is very easy to like get the maximum condition or the maximum value of this attack speed. So you are probably going to see attack speed +16s in this. And then the true damage based off of unit speed. She's definitely going to be very speedy as well. Now, what does Supreme Astra do? Boost special damage by 40% of unit speed. Makes sense. You want to stack speed. That is a very clear game plan here. At start of turn, if unit special cooldown is at its maximum value, grants special cooldown count -1 to unit. After unit special trigger, grant special cooldown count -1 to unit. Okay, so you also have like times +4 built into Supreme Astra, I see. Okay. And that is where like we get that permanent uptime that we saw on the FEH channel. Wow. This is a lot of true damage, like actually. Do we have tempo? Oh yeah, we have flow desperation. So that is the new B skill. Now what does this do? Inflicts speed defense -4 on foe during combat. If unit initiates combat, neutralizes effects that prevent units follow-up attacks during combat. And also if number of spaces from unit start position to end position is greater than or equal to 2, or unit's HP is less than or equal to 75% at start of combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. Okay, so we have the same like movement condition as flow desperation. So clearly the game plan here is you want to like move Ayra as much as possible when engaging. At the very minimum too, because that synergizes well with the rest of the kit. And yeah, getting desperation off of this, obviously with like all the rest of the flow skills, you also get no follow-up, or at least the offensive half of no follow up, so that you have your bases covered there. And yeah, this is again this is a really good skill. Like this is actually an insane skill. Like it was thought that like flow guard or one of the other flow skills was the best one to get like NFU on your flyers or calves. But I think this one like blows it out of the water. Like actually. Hold on, what are the other like flow skills? We have like flow fight. I mean, I guess technically the other one is a flow end trace, right? And I can see an argument saying that, you know, the trace is definitely more useful than the desperation for certain units. But if like your cav or flyer unit has Canto already, then you might as well just use this one. Like honestly, I think I prefer this on Lysithea. Okay, maybe not, because again, Lysithea has this really easy. And Lysithea already has NFU, so she wouldn't actually like gain much from that. Never mind. Scratch that. Ignore what I'm saying. And oh yeah, Lysithea can't even use this either because she's a range flyers rep. Yeah, range flyers need more things. But like still, this is a very, very good skill, and yeah. Like it's either going to be this or flow and trace for the flow skills, I think. And yeah, you can see the Canto here. Now what is the harmonic? Grants attack speed +6, resonant blades, and unit can move 1 extra space to units and allies from the same titles as units for 1 turn. Okay. Wow. Okay, I think Ayra... Wow. Okay, this harmonic skill is like so good. I think this is like SD viable. Unit can move 1 extra space to unit and ally from the same titles as unit for 1 turn. I think you'll be seeing a lot of Ayras in like the sort of rush down cav teams in SD. Unfortunately, you can't really use this in Ether Raids because defense obviously can't use this, and Ether Raids offense has the dual hindrance structures. But in SD, this is very strong. And like there's, I want to know what units are good in like genealogy and 3 houses in SD. Because like if you look at the current tier list, it's mostly dominated by like awakening units and Valencian units right now. But like I guess technically Fates 2 with Hinoka. Oh, Shez, I think, would make very good use of this. And, well, Yuri already has extra movement. I guess, like, Edelgards. But you don't really want to use this to, like, set up, obviously. Unless you're, like, a Cav Rushdown. But no, this is a very, very strong harmonic skill. Like, very, very strong. So yeah, Ayra is looking to be a very, very strong unit.
Some more?
Yeah, we have the extra movement there.
You have it.
Here.
Have some tea.
I think with that, like, Ayra might, like, probably either competes with or overtakes Seliph, like Brave Seliph. That's actually kind of insane. Wow. Okay, and yeah, this banner lasts for a month. Do we have like anything else in the trailer? Yeah, we have the Spark. Limited to Fate Pass as always. But yeah, overall, very, very kind of insane batch, honestly. I mean, the fodder, Desperation 4 is really good, right? Like, Desperation 4 is just so much better than base Desperation. Like, not having to rely on self-damage or anything like that is just super good. Lysithea herself is seeming very strong. Again, not being able to get through damage reduction will be Lysithea's biggest weakness, and time will tell whether or not that is a big enough hindrance for her to prevent her from like being meta or strong. But I do think she's pretty good. It's just that like you probably want to do like an AoE AoE build or something like that. But unfortunately, like the true damage does not get through AoEs or does not include AoEs, which is a huge shame. But like with all the buffs, it should be relatively straightforward to get through the AoEs. And yeah, get through with AoEs. And yeah, with the true damage, should be able to finish off pretty much most units also. Sigurd, of course, with the sweep effect and giving out extra movement is super strong. Again, the biggest weakness here is that he's not really that speedy and is relying on the guaranteed follow-up attack to be able to double. And I think for most save tanks, it will depend on his speed stat, but I think for most save tanks, he won't be able to do it. We'll have to see the stats, of course. So he might not be able to punch through a lot of the save tanks, but Chivalric Aura giving all units extra movement is always going to be very strong. So he'll probably find use in like SDS, if not SDR, especially on like those rushdown cav teams. Ferdinand, decent like green tome, I guess. And then yeah, Ayra herself is looking very good with the huge Canto. That is so huge for those sort of cav rushdown teams in SD. And just having a harmonic skill that grants all units within the titles extra movement is just super, super strong. I will say, like, if the map happens to have like a lot of trenches or anything, Ayra and by extension Sigurd does lose value. But on maps where that is not an issue, like I can see Ayra just being like very, very busted. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Again, it really depends on how the meta develops, because like I think most teams have like guidance 4 frontlines these days that do speed stack, that's like have like guard bearing 4, so it can be difficult. And like obviously with guidance 4 you have like a lot of range. Also like Canto control exists, of course. Most good teams will have Canto control these days from either Chrom or Legendary Robin. So you might not be able to get that much value from this Canto, but still, like, this is still insanely strong. Wow. Okay. Yeah, overall, very interesting units. We do have, I believe, Tail 2 as the, I guess, Tempest Trial unit, which is always really nice. And yeah, overall, very, very strong banner. It remains to be seen whether or not these units will be like top tier meta or anything. I personally will probably be skipping this banner. Even though I do think these units are very strong, I don't think any of these units are necessary per se for you to succeed. And like we have very powerful like calves already. Granted, not one that could just give all the titles extra movement. But like still, I do think that at least with CYL coming up, I do want to save. At the very least, I think you should wait until CYL just to see like what those units are. Because like obviously CYL is always a huge deal and is always a big moment in FEH. So personally, I would like wait until then to make a decision to summon. But I don't think I'll personally be summoning for this banner, even though I do think these units are very strong, and especially the skills are really, really good. But yeah, overall, that is my reaction and analysis on this banner. And yeah, if you did enjoy it, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out the channel a lot. And I really do appreciate all the constant support. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this banner. What unit are you most excited for? And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next time. Bye, everyone.